I'm writing any workout, I if it's a sprint workout focused around, again, a certain event, because everything we do is going to be, every practice we do is specific to a certain event, at least for me. So if it's a 50 free or 100 free workout or a sprint stroke workout, it takes a similar process. I talked to a track coach years and years ago about training sprinters, and one of the things that he talked about was that they spent the most time focusing on the first 15 to 20 meters of a 100-meter race, and that really resonated with me. It made a lot of sense, and I've come to find out that building the actual speed and power takes a lot more time than endurance does. I think endurance is going to come a lot easier, and you can build it a lot quicker than actually making somebody faster and building actual pure speed. So most of our workouts are going to be centered around really trying to get their top end speed a bit higher. Whatever their top end speed is, just trying to maximize that. So pretty much every sprint workout we do is going to be, there's a lot of resistance work, and we have a lot of different resistance toys, as we like to call them, and we use them all. And it's based on trying to build that top end speed as much as possible. So anything we do, if it's centered around a 50 freestyle, we're not going to do repeat 50s. We're not going to do repeat 25s necessarily, because we need to swim at a speed faster than they're ever going to swim, or their goal time is faster than they've ever been, right? So the speed they're going to want to be training at in practice needs to be higher than that, which means the effort has to be higher than that. So we're going to train smaller distances. So I do a lot of stuff based on stroke counts rather than a distance. So rather than saying we're going 25s or 15 meters, I'll say we're going to go 8 strokes, or we're going to go 10 strokes or 12 strokes or whatever it is, so that they're just really focused on that very specific amount of strokes. And it allows them to be able to really focus on it, be disciplined, and be centered around exactly what they're doing for that short amount of time, and be perfect, and then take a break, and then repeat and do it again. And we do a lot of that, obviously, and most of it's resisted, but it's all centered around their top end speed and developing that, whether it's kicking, pulling, or swimming, drilling. We do a lot of technique work as well, and we definitely work on the starts. We'll work on the turns. We'll work on every piece of a race. Strategy, if they're going to breathe, when they take the breath, how quick their breath is. All different parts of the race. We'll break it down and work on that over the course of the practice. So you'll see us doing turn work. You'll see us doing finish work, and everything in between. There's two ways we focus on, anybody's start really, but sprinters specifically. One is what we do in the weight room. I'm a pretty big advocate of strength training, and the majority of our strength training for sprinters is going to be centered around the start and pushing off the wall. So it's, the majority of it is 80% maybe is leg driven, squats, deadlifts, cleans, anything that is going to help us be able to push off the wall with more force. One of our biggest goals is increasing their vertical. So I tell our strength coach I want all the sprinters to be able to dunk a basketball, jump through the roof, just make them more powerful, more explosive, so that they have more force when they go off the block, as well as when they're pushing off the wall. Then we'll obviously try to transition that strength into onto the block and into the pool. So we do a fair amount of technical work off the block, so that they can figure out how to use that power and strength that they're building in the weight room and transition it onto the block, because obviously a vertical jump is a lot different than diving off the block forward. So we have to get their mind right on how to transition that vertical jumping explosiveness into a start. We do a lot of technique work on the way they leave the block, as well as the way they enter the water to carry that speed through. And we also do, the third thing we focus on, we do a lot of plyometrics. So our dry land, as well as in the weight room, we do a lot of jumping, just different type of jumping exercise, whether it's broad jumps or just vertical jumping, or just a lot of different things there, so they again can work on being explosive and powerful off the block. There's a lot of different ways to get from point A to point B. Ours is a little bit different than the next person, and just teaching them, to understand how to train at the level that this type of training requires to get out you know, I don't do a lot of volume with the sprinters. You know, they very rarely go over 5,000 yards in a practice. You know, sometimes they might go 2,000, 3,000, but it's all high intensity. Like we would go like a 200 warm up and then go. And then they're swimming fast right away in workout. So to get their minds wrapped around that they have to go 100% maximum effort on every single thing we do is something that's new, and that's new for, you know, for every incoming, you know, freshman that ever comes into the program. They have to learn that as well, because not too many club programs are training that way, and not necessarily a lot of college programs are training that way. So it's new for everybody, but just getting them to wrap their mind around every time I push off the wall, I have to go at an effort that may make me puke. You know, we ask them to run through a wall every single practice on repeat after repeat after repeat, and get back up and do it again. And once they grasp that, then they really take off. And then you see, if you ever see any of our kids just have 1 year of like a tremendous improvement, then that's probably when it clicked. You know, Morgan Hill's a great example. You know, this year she went from 22.0 to 21.6 in the 50. She went from 55 in 100 fly to 50.8. You know, she had a good year last year and improved a fair amount last year, but this year the explosive power side of it really clicked with her, and you saw that tremendous improvement. And so once they kind of figure that out, and it's hard, and it's mentally taxing to do that. You know, if you're going to push off the wall and go 80%, it's not as hard mentally to get yourself prepared to do that. Whereas it's repeat after repeat after repeat. It has to be at a 100% maximum effort, as well as 100% disciplined focus on exactly what they're doing. If we're only going 12 strokes with a minute rest, those 12 strokes they have got to be at maximum speed, maximum power. They've got to be perfect strokes. Otherwise, you didn't get anything out of it. And so that is something that any swimmer coming into the program really has to figure out and try to. And the quicker they figure it out, you know, the quicker they're going to really have big improvements. And we help them through that. Their teammates will help them through that. But I think that's the biggest, you know, challenge for them when they come into a program like this.